Hello everyone, it is Joe here from Omnipoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon. If you're looking for PTCGO codes, including the brand new Battle Styles stuff, make sure you go ahead and check out the Potown store. You can get a 5% discount on your orders using the code Omnipoke. For today's video, we are going to be talking Battle Styles. It is now on PTCGO, so we will be kickstarting with a Rapid Strike Urshifu variant. This is going to be a straight Urshifu, trying to use Artillery to search out pieces along the way, really streamline the deck, and cash in on the two great attacks that the Vmax has on offer. I do think this list is going to be one of potentially several Urshifu variants. You've already seen on the channel probably that I have a ton of different ways you can combine this card. This straight list is making the most out of Urshifu itself, but does have some weaknesses. We don't have many answers to Decidueye, we don't have many answers to Zamazenta, those sorts of things. So I think this really does highlight the strength of the archetype itself and solidify how good Gmax Rapid Flow actually is and how you can lean into that quite heavily for a lot of the top tier archetypes in the game right now. Very good into tag teams, very good into Eternatus, Center Scorch, those sorts of VMAXs that we've come to know. But then there are those things on the fringes. So it does feel like when you play Eternatus, you're trying to dodge and weave some of those matchups. This list specifically is trying to do the same. But if you want to have better matchups against those sorts of annoying wall decks, you can try a different Urshifu variant. So we'll start off with the main Pokemon line. We're playing a 4-4 of the Urshifu. The V actually has Strafe, which you can do for one energy attachment. You do 30 and switch to the bench. It's a little bit of chip pressure, and it's actually reasonable if you're doing it into Crobat or Dedenne or like Eldegoss, anything like that. That 30 poke, it's a 60 poke into Crobat and Dedenne, which is nice, so it sets up the 120 hit even when they're on the bench, which is amazing for you. Even if it's a 30 poke into like an Eldegoss, you can then use Telescopic Sight and do a 150 snipe later on. So if your opponent just happens to start with any of those annoying starters, that little 30 poke from Strafe can be a really big deal. Also into Eternatus, a Strafe hitting it for 60 then sets it up for a turn 2 Gale Frost KO. So that poke, don't forget about it. It's actually really useful, seeing as though you're protecting your Urshifu anyway, which also means if you just start with this guy going second, you're pretty happy. As long as you find a fighting energy attachment, you can get out of there safely as well, which is really nice. 100 Furious Blows you can do all in one turn because we are playing Tapu Koko Prism Star as a small package in this deck, so you can Dance of the Ancients, attach a Rapid Strike energy, which counts as 2 of fighting and water energies all in one attachment. It means you can do that really easily and hit 150. Again, you don't do this too often. You can just be finishing things off if you really have to. You can be being early aggressive if you think your opponent won't be able to respond KO. So it's an option. Typically you save Dance of the Ancients for later when you're doing snipe pressure with Gmax Rapid Flow, but the option is open for you. It does have an annoying weakness of Psychic, but we can shut that off with Jirachi GX, which is in the list. The Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX firstly has incredible artwork. You can play Where's Wally with a ton of interesting Pokemon going on all over the place, which is great. And he just looks amazing himself, of course. It has 2 fantastic attacks. Gale Frost is a throwback to Gliscopod. Gale Thrust does 30 and 120 more if it became your active Pokemon this turn. Bear in mind, obviously, you have to evolve first, then move it out of the active, so just remember that for sequencing. But yeah, really good numbers. It sets up Gmax Rapid Flow fantastically in the Tag Team GX matchups, because you can then do the 120 after the 150, which is obviously hitting 270, which is great into a number of tag teams. We do play Zigzagoon to get that 280 number hit as well for ADP, which is just fantastic. So you're also able to set up bench Pokemon, knock out 1 prizes like Jirachis or Rangaroos, that sort of thing, anything that's trying to evolve. Zigzagoons that your opponents put down, that sort of stuff. Obviously intimidating for Blacephalon and those sorts of attackers, whilst also setting up a tag team, finishing it off, dealing with Crobats. You can knock out Dedenne in 1 hit if you have Telescopic Sight and Zigzagoon ping it as well. You can gust up Dedenne's Crobats and knock them out, obviously, because you can hit weakness into the active and then hit 120 onto V Pokemon, like set up Zacians and stuff like that. So this number is just incredible. The attack is phenomenal. I've talked about it so much already on the channel, so just take it as it is, basically. Card is pretty crazy. We are also playing one Empoleon V. Empoleon adds a nice water typing, which means that Against Center Scorch and possibly the new Victini Vmax, you can be hitting for weakness, which is really nice. Swelling Slice then does 260 into those matchups, which then sets them up for the 120 Gmax Rapid Flow, which can happen quite easily because Swelling Slice already moves an energy off Empoleon, which makes him very efficient. Again, you can get him going all in one turn with Dance in the Ancients plus turn attachment of Rapid Strike Energy. That Rapid Strike Energy we can tutor out really easily with Octillery, so you always are seeing those when you want them, which is great. You also have a minor upside of Emperor's Eyes, where you can shut off non-rulebox basic Pokemon's abilities. This can be really annoying for Jirachi players that are trying to Stellar Wish, especially welding variants relying on that. Things like Blacephalon, again, you can really punish that just by shoving Empoleon active, or even just strafing into it, you know, if you're going second, something like that, which is kind of cool. It's also annoying for like Snorlax, Doll, Vmax variants like Orbeetle, that sort of stuff. So there's some minor upsides to this ability, just shoving him into the active position, which is pretty okay, just for slowing people down if they are relying on those sorts of engines. I mentioned Zigzagoon. It means that we can go 150 into 130 into ADP. It also means that we can Telescopic Sight plus Ping Dedenne for KOs, so really important one of there. We have a 2-2 Octillery. The Rapid Strike Search is so fantastic. It helps us get into our chain of Urshifus, helps us pick out Empoleon when we need to, helps us mostly get Rapid Strike Energy, which is an all-star card, but it also has the option to get Tower of Waters and the new supporter Karina's Focus. So Octillery is kind of an all-star. It's kind of a stamp-proofing mechanism, whilst also just making sure you have a chain of Rapid Strike Energies, which is a star player in the deck. So a really nice line to have 2-2 of. You only ever really want to get one out because you can only use one per turn, but that ability is really, really good. The rest of the Pokemon are just here to help us get set up, basically. Well, actually, Jirachi's here to remove that Psychic weakness, because Mewtwo could be around, and there's also Dragapult, which could be making a small resurgence, as well as Mad Party and Whimsicott variants. You want to shut off that Psychic weakness. It's quite prevalent in the game. There's double Dedenne, one Eldegoss, one Crobat. That sort of package we've seen in a ton of decks just be successful. And Cocoa Prism, you know, we have a colorless attack cost in Rapid Flow and in Swirling Slice, so we can take advantage of that. And the whole idea is that we can Gmax Rapid Flow, remove all the energy that we have in play, essentially, and still be threatening that Gmax Rapid Flow for the following turn. So you can set up win conditions that don't require Boss for game. You can just Dance in the Ancients for game instead and find Octillery for the attachment. So it's a really nice way to stamp-proof yourself and have more win conditions than just having Boss in hand, which is kind of a good thing. Next up, we have some trainers. We're playing 4-com for Quick Ball for tons of Pokemon search. As you know, one of the main priorities is getting early Remoraid Octillery as well as our basics. Octillery can help search Pokemon from then on as well, which is great. 4 switches, 2 Escape Rope, 2 Balloon, and 1 Tower of Waters, so a ton of mobility pieces. We do need to be getting in and out of the active if we are Gale Thrusting. The Rope as well can also synergize nicely with Telescopic Sight. If we hit 150 with a Gale Thrust into like an ADP, for example, and then you can, if you don't have the Zigzagoon available, you can Rope Telescopic, and that extra damage can get over the line. Like I've said, it can help out against the Dedenne. It can help out against a few things. So the Telescopic is really nice for just damage modding in general. And yeah, the Rope is going to synergize quite nicely with that, as well as extra maneuverability. The Tower of Waters is just 1 stadium right now. I know Sweller's around. I think having 1 count stadium is reasonable. Possibly could go up to the 2 count, but I just wanted a searchable switch out for Octillery, basically. High boss count, your researchers, your Marnies, and double Karina's Focus. It's not a fantastic draw card. It's only draw up until you have 6, so it's like a Crobat effect. Sometimes it's only getting you like 3 cards, something like that. But because it's Octillery searchable, it means we have great stamp proofing. That's the main reason we have it in here. And it means if ever you just draw into a dud hand with no supporter, Octillery can fish it out for you, which is nice. Yeah, everything else speaks for itself. The Rapid Strike Energy I've mentioned counts as water and fighting, so it's going to be what you attach to attack with Empoleon, and it's the main man for Urshi. The Stone Fighting is going to be nice to push us all the way up to 350 hit points. Do bear in mind you discard these when you Rapid Flow, so take that into consideration if you're trying to stay out of knockouts, but in general, super tanky. Also means that you can push the basic Urshi up to 240, which is out of range of Zacian, if you're going to come up against you know, ADP if they want to avoid the GX attack, or if you're coming up against Luke Metal, you can tank that hit so they can't have easy gusts on you, even if they hit those early Intrepid Sword, like double energy turns, you know. And then just 3 Lightning Energy down at the bottom. Other cards you could see in here, definitely things like Great Catcher is reasonable, because you do love picking off the Dennes, thanks to that weakness with Gmax Rapid Flow. You can think about having the Fan of Waves, I think it's called, for the special energy removal, because it's searchable for Octillery. Not too much else that I think is super lacking in this department. You could think about Scoop Up Net just for Zigzagoon or leaning more heavily into that. Outside of that, I think it's a pretty standard list, and it's been doing well for me on the ladder. I did a 6-hour stream yesterday, and Jack is going to be streaming for 12 hours today. So make sure you check out the twitch.tv/Team Omnipoke to see us playtesting Urshifu and a ton of other variants. I think I got through like 10 different decks yesterday, playing for a long time, and this list was the one that was doing the best for me. I think we managed to carve out a 12-win streak before we moved on to other decks, so yeah, that's some high praise for the deck. We have started with a complete brick, though, so that's what you get for bigging up a deck this whole time. Any Pokemon is a good draw for us, though. We have a lot of good outs, and we are actually up against Whimsicott, so priorities against Whimsicott, knock out their Mews, probably. Get Jirachi GX in play is also going to be important for us. Those sorts of things are integral in our opening stages. Whimsicott is possibly coming back in popularity just because... ooh, okay, nice. So the Mulligan is the thing that's actually getting us out of this mess. We can go ahead and grab the early... I could go early Empoleon. I don't have an energy drop anyway. Maybe I just Dead-A change the whole lot, you know? So I can actually get an energy drop. Yeah, we can Dead-A change this. I'll also just Rope just to deny a Wish. Possibly deny a Wish. Alright, so we do get the turn 1. I think I could go Empoleon, you know? Empoleon seems pretty safe. It's pretty tanky in the opening stages, and it's more guaranteed for next turn. And I don't mind attaching 2 Rapids to it, because I can always move 1 back. So probably our best option to kick off with this until we can develop Urshi plus Jirachi GX. Seems like a safe start for us. So Coco is certainly going to be reasonable in this sort of matchup where you want to Gmax Rapid Flow a couple times in a row. As soon as we've dealt with Mew, basically, you want to be pinging all over the board and just taking these multiple prize turns into 1 prize matchups. Our opponent's going to grab a Cottony early, also can Quick Ball, so a couple good Ball Search cards for them in the opening stages here. Had a pretty painful discard. One of our 2 Karinas is gone. I didn't really check to see if the other one's in there. We certainly should be doing that. For prize checking, Rapid Strike Energy is also a really big one to keep an eye on. They are going to put down Dedenne, which is nice to see as well. It's a way that we could get a 3 prize turn onto someone by knocking out Dedenne and Cotton or Whimsicott at the same time. They're going to Great Ball. Haven't seen any Level Balls from them. Level Ball's a new card that they certainly could be taking advantage of. I see a Dreamy Revelation. Let's see, they have Birdkeeper into the Stellar Wish anyways. They've already got rid of 1 Rod as well, which is kind of nice. They're probably playing 2 ordinary Rods. So it's not the end of the story, but if they're not developing Mew, I'm pretty happy. They should expect to put Mew down if we're showing Rapid Strike Energy early. They're going to grab another Great Ball. Ton of search in the opening. They've got a large hand size to work with. They get their energy drop down. I'm probably just going to end it there. Nope, they've got a Lucky Egg as well. All right. Cool. Let's just attach and research. Need a switch out here, which we do get. We do also get Artillery and Urshi. Very solid, actually. We can grab Urshi alongside the Jirachi because I can do this just to Comet back in. So that's kind of cool. And We can go Swirling Slice. Now, I believe this was bugged earlier, where it wasn't recognizing the energy properly. So we'll see if that comes into effect. I know it was bugged yesterday, and I don't know if it's been fixed. So do be careful when using Swirling Slice on the ladder, because I believe the energy that gets taken back to the bench, it may only count as one energy. It may just ignore the fact that it's moved to the bench at all. So that's just a PTCGO glitch right now. But in theory, we're threatening the double snipe here with an Impolin in the active. They're going to just grab more Jirachi here. Haven't seen any level balls from them yet. That's probably the biggest upgrade that this deck is able to get, because the Whimsy also falls with that nice 90 hit points. They need to get the full bench with the full tool assortment, right? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. No, they don't need the full gang. They need 4 tools in play to be chucked. Let's see, they have the research. So they're looking for a switch out and one more tool. Actually discard the Mew, which I don't advise so much. There's an egg for the active. There's an evolution. Does that mean they're not switching here? Does that mean they're just sacrificing? Yeah, okay. Well, let's go ahead and make a Vmax so they can't just Gust KO it. And we can continue to swirl. I don't think I need to do anything else. We'll move the stone back over here. I don't know if it's only Rapid Strike energy that's bugged or what. I just remember that last night we had a game where I had to attach a 5th energy over here just to Gmax Rapid Flow. And if the bug is still there, we'll do the same next turn with a Rapid Strike Search. Alright, they get Lucky Egg activation. That's both Rods and Mew gone, so I don't even have to care about Mew here. And we're trying to win over 2 turns here. We can KO 2 1 prizes and then Gust a Dene for game quite happily. They're going to toss Oricorio back into the deck. They're going to grab another Cottony. What else are they working with? More energy drops is fine. U-turn board. So that they can recover some of this damage. So they can get a KO here in response. They're going to bring up the one with the Horror Psychic, which is fine. So they are going to just go ahead and take the KO here. We'll go into this. So let's thin the deck a little bit. Definitely don't need 3 of these. So if the game isn't bugged, I should be able to Gmax Rapid Flow here. Let's just scout. Yeah, so you can see it's still bugged. I have the right energy to Gmax Rapid Flow, but it's not going to let me do it. So we have to go ahead and grab this out the deck, which is a troll, obviously. So we're discarding 5 energy. So Swirling Slice is bugged on PTCGO. Just something to remember, folks. Let's do this stuff. This sets up boss for game. Or we can still Coco dance. There are no lightnings in the bin just yet. So we now are holding on to game because we can Rapid Strike search the Rapid Strike energy, com Dedenne in for the Vmax and Eldegoss for boss. So we're currently holding game. Research. Gets rid of a few bosses. Yeah, pretty surprising to see them not put down Mew, to be honest with you. It's certainly important for the 1 prizes to do that against this deck. They've got rid of 2 Whimsy so far. They may still be hunting that down. They're going to grab Oricorio. Here's Whims. So they're hitting 170 right now. They can quick ball. Okay, they're just going to concede. Yeah, we had game in hand, and they didn't have hand disruption. So that was all good. Do you have game in... I guess if they didn't take the KO, we didn't have game in hand, but we could then just win so slowly. We could win in a very slow fashion. We could have just made the next Vmax attached to it, take 1 more single prize, stay out of range of everything. So that was looking okay. Let's get into our next game. I do like the Coco package. Didn't really work out too well there, but I find it's really helpful against Crushing Hammers and some more aggressive decks. This deck still likes to go first because we are evolving, of course. Pretty reasonable hand here. Got some early game attachments. Got an early Urshifu. See an Eldegoss straight away. We'll just do this. So we're straight away threatening a Gmax Rapid Flow on the opponent, which is a ton of pressure. Opponent can more while us, so we're up against ADP, I guess. Looks like it's ADP. Oh, did they prize their actual ADPs? No, maybe not. Maybe they're just reacting to troll us. Certainly could be a troll react. I think if it's ADP, they would have found that rather than Morwell, though. So yeah, they're just gonna sword up. So we're not gonna need Jirachi. I'm probably just gonna Dede change this. We need switch outs. We need... I mean, how bad is it just to... We actually stay out of range if I just stone fighting both of these guys. How bad is it just to prod this? Prod the 30, again, is relevant because we have the 2 telescopics. So a 30 prod's actually not bad here. Maybe I just play completely passive and do it like this. It's really slow, but I don't mind it in this spot. We can do a bit more dig. I think I don't even go Vmax yet. I think I just grab the Remoraid. Do this. Reduce their hand size down a little bit. Alright, so we do find the Vmax now. Would I prefer to strafe, or would I prefer to just Gale Thrust for the 30? Get it in play against a Marnie, I guess. Yeah, Let's do the big 30. Alternatively, I could retreat rope and get 120, or yeah, 120 in. That means I don't need to find the thing. Okay, let's retreat rope. So he just feeds us more while instead. And let's Gale Thrust him. So the only upside here is now it really shuts off more while as an attacking option, and we don't need to find a telescopic now. They're going to go Spinner. They're going to grab an energy. They are still attaching to more while. Might need to be doing it to retreat, though. And they're just dead changing. Ah, they're bossing. Okay. So they can take a Zacian KO. They're going to Big Charm Zacian. I'm glad now that we hit the 150 and not the 30 poke, because the Zacian would have... Oh, sorry, the Big Charm could have denied that pretty happily. Alright, and now we're setting up for the 2 Gmax Rapid Flows for game. We actually rip Artillery off the top. Yeah, let's Rapid Strike Search now. Do this. We need Zigzagoon to ping the active if we're going to do this, or I need to telescopic and push this back to the bench next turn. That's also an option. Do I just want to ping the Dene here? I need the Zigzagoon ping to be the active anyways. So I think we put this back here, actually. And we'll just mop up the more while. Two bosses down is the only slight problem. Looks like they took ADP off prizes, I would imagine. So they need to find a switch out just to attack this turn. Switch into Dene, retreat. Okay, they found a balloon. Ah, we drew Zigzagoon. So this is our last Rapid Strike energy, but we'll be taking 2 prizes. And Stone Fighting can be our win con anyway. So if I had double Zigzagoon ping here, we'd just win on the spot, right? Oh no, wait, I do win on the spot because I can Eldegoss boss. Oh no, Eldegoss not here. Yeah, so if we had Eldegoss, we'd actually have game here. We could Zigzagoon ping, kill this and this with the weakness. So let's just grab this. Let's do this. Let's do this. This can go here. So yeah, would have had game if we hadn't prized Eldegoss. But this is still looking fine. He loses to an energy attachment now, basically. There's our Rapid Strike energies. If he Marnies, we have Artillery. Looks like they're building a Zacian on the bench and forcing the boss, which I respect. But now we can just do this and research, and then the Dance of the Ancients gets us there. So this is a perfect example of setting up game with the Coco. That was some really unfortunate prizes as well, and we just... I mean, they prized ADP, but we had some... I mean, we had early aggressive, like, rope telescopic as well, and that's really good into ADP. So I think ADP is one of the matchups that's not been a huge issue for us. Especially if you can get Artillery down. It means you don't need to Dede change and Crobat too much. Which is kind of nice. Alright, going second here, but we do have the Strafe play lined up. We can do a casual Marnie, or if we feel safe, we could go for a quick boss onto a Dedenne or a Crobat for the relevant poke. Looks like we're up against the single strike list, which is typically not the easiest matchup for us. They're very tanky, kind of dependent on how many Houndoom things they get rolling in the early stages. Let's take our free card. Seems good enough to put down. So we can strafe KO a Houndour, which is a really nice thing to be able to have available. The stones keep us fairly well out of range out of the regular Urshifu. They do straight away find one of those single strike energies. They throw a couple, or sorry, one in the bin early, but they do have pots for sure. Do you find a backup Houndour? Okay, they can't move it out the way, which is pretty good for us. Com makes this hand really good. Or much better, I should say. I'm still happy to just Marnie, so I think I just make another one of these. We actually have pretty much everything we want. I could go into an Empoleon if I want to. Just means we can go this way about doing things. Pretty nice follow-up for next turn, to be honest. We'll just take the prize. Oh, it's weak to grass. Okay, we're not taking a prize. But this does set up a Houndoom for a snipe KO. I assumed it was dark and it was weak to that, but new rules, etc. But this still sets up the KO for the snipe now, because they actually have 130 hit points. So I can try and Zigzagoon ping the other guy, and then we can kill both. Which is kind of good. I think in this matchup, the longer you can ignore the big guy, the better. Because if you start punching into it, he just gets the scroll and lots of pressure with the scroll. And that's dangerous. So let's do this. So we can go ahead and grab the Vmax. So, hitting for 150 into the Vmax, what do we think? I mean, his hand is kind of bad. So if I just knock out a bench and hit this for a bit of damage, it's pretty good tempo, right? I feel like I should be tempoing as much as possible. I could just deal with 2 dogs, but I have this set up for my prizes. So my prizes wants to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 3, 4, and then just the Dene. Yeah, so 1 Houndour, this, and then Dedenne is our win condition. So it does open up the Whirlpool Scroll. We are in range of getting bopped with the 1 blow. It's currently doing 290. It could go to 3. He could 330 and just kill us if he has all of the single strike energies. He's turn attaching though, which means he has access to scroll. Oh, he's going to beat down for 160 by the looks of things. Okay. So research is a good top. Let's attach here and just yeet everything. I can play switch. So now we're threatening game next turn. I can just hit this for 150. We have boss for these 2 next turn, and I can just Coco Dance. I could also retreat rope. No, I don't want to do that. Let's thin the deck. I guess I just... what do I want to thin the deck of? Just in case I get Marnied, I guess I don't want to put one of these. I'm happy to put one of those to the bottom, I guess. Maybe he Gust KO's Octillery. Don't want the space to be anything else. Could be Eldegoss. Can Eldegoss be game? No. I know. I feel like I should just be deck thinning. We're in such a strong spot here. Let's just Gale Thrust. So, if he gets the scroll off the top, he can take the KO. They're really in need of a supporter here. But yeah, we have game of boss. As long as they don't put down a Mew. They can earn, but they're not able to Houndoom. It will knock itself out. Yeah, they just scoop. Alright. We'll get one more game. The single strike deck certainly seems a lot harder to get going than the than the Rapid Strike deck. They are not one and the same. They are not equal in power level, I don't think. That's the nice way to put it. So let's get one more in. So far, we haven't come up against the scarier matchups. I think there probably will be some Corviknight, Luke Metals roaming around right now. Desi is probably still fine. If Rapid Strike really emerges to be insane, which I think it kind of is, Desi will be a really good check to it. It's all new meta questions, though, right? Up against a welding deck that also plays stamps. Senti or Victini, probably more likely than Blacephalon. Could be Mewtwo. Welding Mewtwo. Let's take our free card. See a Jirachi. So Empoleon is good at trolling Jirachi. I could have switched into it turn 1 and got it down, but I like the option of the Gmax Rapid Flow instead. Gmax Rapid Flow early is so dangerous for so many decks. If it's a truly aggressive welding variant, they could go for early Reshizard. I have tried a welding Urshifu variant as well. It's gone questionably. So they're thinning towards the Wish here, trying to get them into something. And that something is going to be a Scoop Up Net Reload or a Scoop in Style. Okay, it's a reload. One more try. Quick Ball's nice. That could be the target that they're after for a welder. Yep, we are going to see the Quick Ball. Get sort of a great catcher. It is going to be Reshizard. They're going to scoop him that again. So still looks like they're hunting the welder. Otherwise, they probably would have welded first. There's the welder. All right, so they can go Reshizard, weld. Does get the energy, does have the switch. So aggro GX here. So we really want to find the Rapid Strike energy this turn. We can take the 1 knockout and set up the Reshizard for the following turn with Gale Thrust. So let's evolve up and just research this. We do find Rapid Strike energy. I don't actually need much else in play right now. It's scary into exactly Blown, but I could just have nothing in play, basically. And next turn, we can just turn this Urshifu into a Dedenne. Yeah, I think we just do that. We'll say, come deal with this big chonk. He'll probably just outrage and set something else, up. But the fact that he has Oricorio, I mean, maybe he does play the Blown. That's when it gets scary. Let's see. They're at minimum able to outrage, so they are playing the Blown. They need to find 10 energies this turn. Pay Retreat allows Crystal to be 3 of those energies. Oh, he Crystals now? Okay, so he's just swinging here. Okay. So we actually find the switch as well. So I can switch Balloon, Gale Thrust, KO. And then my last two prizes are going to have to come through Tapu Koko dealing with these two. I'm getting to Marnie as well, which is nice, at least. It's only 100 that he has to deal with. But it's still reasonable, right? So let's switch Balloon up. Let's play the Marnie. No sign of Coco shenanigans just yet, which is a little bit dodgy. So let's just take our prizes. Anytime we find a lightning, though, we can half it away, which is good news. Don't find a lightning. But if they can't scoop up Net the Jirachi and hold it in hand, we can still just have win next turn. And if they choose not to put it back down, we could attempt a slightly greedier Marnie line. Marnie KO active, not give them Stellar Wish. We'll see. Obviously, if they play Mew, it gets a bit sketchier for us. Then it's just Marnie KO. Hope they don't have Cramorant. Oh no, Cramorant won't win anything, because this is going to go down. There's a scoop up net. So they can try and make it a hard 6 prizes for us by keeping the Jirachi in hand. So he's actually going Heatran KO here. Heatran KO means we can Empoleon win. Or is he just gonna... We'll see, we'll see. He could just be setting Heatran up in the back. No, he's going Heatran. So this loses to Empoleon. Empoleon Koko. Empoleon Koko, Rapid Strike Energy. There's a few ways we can win here. It all involves Koko, though. But it's not the worst. So we'll evolve up. We'll play the research. There is Koko. We just need to find Rapid Strike Energy now. Let's see it. No Rapid Strike Energy. Can I still Crobat for cards? No, we can't. So, how do I win? We can Tingly Return GX this turn. Makes him have... he has all of his switches still. Do I Tingly return into an Urshi? Yeah, I guess I do, right? Means we're probably getting blown back here. How many energies we talking? They can welder and find a switch out. That's 3. They have the KO on Little Remoraid, unfortunately. So that was a shame that we whiffed, right? We had a few ways that we could have won. We could have... I mean, it all required Rapid Strike energy. And we didn't have Artillery in play, which is like the only anomaly as to normal. Whenever you have Artillery, all of those plans seem way better, right? But still, we had 7 card dig into the Dene dig, and we prized Crobat, so we couldn't push any further, which is a shame. But yeah, you can see how the Coco opens up these lines, right? The Coco is the enabler for bad board states to just be fixed. Couple of shady misses there. Alright, looks like we are up against a Turner. Our hand is kind of bad. Let's Panic Rope to try and buy us a turn here. Could Dede change and just dump it all? It's a lot of researches going is my fear. So I'm just going to grab an Urshi and try and develop that turn 2 Gale Thrust Rope play. Because if we just miss the Urshi off the Dede change, we're in even worse spot without any researches left. Let's see what the opponent's up to. We just had the poker hand with all the ropes and all the researches. So far, we've just been using rope in the early turns just to push everyone's worst starter out the way. Or best starter out the way. They're benching a Hooper, quick balling, probably for Crobat here, you'd imagine. Oh, they're playing Weavile? Does that mean they're playing Cheryl? Spicy Cheryl. I'm going to grab another Eternatus. And they already had the Crobat. Looking for energy drop by the looks of things. Let's see. If there's no energy drop, we're going to be in a really good spot. Any one prize KO is really good for us as well, because it just means we can go 1 Eternatus, 1 Crobat, which is basically just a Gale Thrust into a Gust 5 prize turn. Alright, they're actually attaching Active, which is definitely a waste in my opinion. They can poke us for 30. But what's their follow-up from there, you know? Remoraid has 1 additional switch out, so we'll bring up Remoraid. The Stadium. we do just find... We actually could Gmax Rapid Flow here if we really wanted to go aggressive, but I think we should just take the 2-prize KO. And save the snipe. Let's just Gale Boot. Com for Octillery is nice. Boss is nice. I'm going to research. They are going to grab a goon. Absolute goon. So if he just pokes us again, I'll take this 2-prize knockout and then be boss away from game for the remainder of the game, basically. Or if we draw energy, I could just boss Gale Thrust again and then have 2 Urshifus, both with an energy attachment. I'm going to quick ball away boss. I'm going to grab Crobat. They'll draw some cards. They do play Crushing Hammer, so that means we have to boss this turn, I think. Ah, that's actually a really good draw, because now we can Octillery for the Rapid Strike energy. So I could still go Gale Thrust here, but we actually have boss in hand, so I should probably just do it with the boss play. So now we're boss away from game, or we're attachment away from game on either of these if he puts, well, alongside a Zigzagoon poke, or if one stays active. They're going to attach to a Turner. They're going to switch. They're going to Marnie us, which is fine. Even with Crushings going their way, we should be okay here. We can turn this Com into a Dede change. Or we can turn it into a Eldegoss if it's in the deck. Eldegoss is in the deck, so we can do this, turn it into an Eldegoss. Good old Eldegoss for boss. I'll just boss this up. Just rapid boot. I didn't realize that he put down another. I wasn't even focusing on that. I was just thinking about the boss win condition. But yeah, we could have just attached and won. We were an energy attachment away from win. But yeah, that's Rapid Strike. Pretty good deck, I think. We had the loss against the Blounds just because of a whiff, basically. And they had aggressive Reshizard into a Dedenne, which isn't always open for them. If we started an Urshi or an Empo, it's not really open for them. And we didn't develop Artillery in time. If we developed Artillery a turn earlier, we win there just by being able to search the Rapid Strike energy rather than having to dig for it. So yeah, pretty good deck. Let me know what you guys think. The Coco's busted, by the way. It's definitely the best way to play straight Urshi. Anyone who's playing just basic fightings, you can definitely improve that list. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for another video. Cheers.